Welcome back for some more members first content. Members going to get this as soon as I'm done filming and editing this on Thursday, and everybody else has to wait until Friday to get my top 10 in 10 for the week of June 30th, 2023. Now, these are going to be the 10 books that I see moving on the aftermarket that pique my interest, whether it be by volume of sales, some price increases, or some interesting things that were noted on the aftermarket. Hopefully, you're enjoying this series as well as everything else here on the channel. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Please like, subscribe, hit the alert button so you don't miss anything. Keep telling your friends so we can keep growing the channel. And if you want to see this week's top 10 in 10, just hang on for a few seconds after the intro, and I will be back for your 10-minute rundown. All right, so let's get prepared and get the clock started for our 10-minute countdown here. So let's get it started. The top 10 books for this week. We will start off, as we normally do, with the follow-up. This is the follow-up to my Wednesday watch list when I'm looking ahead to those new release books. So these are going to be the books that just came out this week on New Comic Book Wednesday, and see if any of these, have heated up. And there were a couple. There were a couple this week. Not as many as I would have thought. Some of the incentives and even those second print incentive variants didn't seem to maintain their value this week, but something's kind of sparked. Like this Dr. Aphra 33. Yes, I talked about this cover because we had Ayla Secura here, and yeah, there's the first appearance of some weird Star Wars character. I forget what he's called. He has like Star Viewers. I don't know. It doesn't matter. I don't see a long-term potential in this, but it's Star Wars, so everybody likes Star Wars first appearances and starts paying a premium right off the bat. People talk it up, and it becomes something more important than I think it is in reality. But both the Ayla Secura cover, which seems to be doing the best, but even the cover A as well seems to be doing all right when we look at sales. Because going into Wednesday, these were cover price books. That's why I listed them on my Wednesday watch list. These were just cover price going in the week, even knowing there was going to be a first appearance in the book. For whatever reason, since Wednesday, copies have started to sell for $15 to $20 here for this Ayla Secura cover, and that other cover A is also doing 10 to 15 as well. I mean, get it while you can, I guess, but I just don't see any long-term value in this personally. I could be wrong. Maybe this is the next big character in Star Wars and something we're going to see forever, but I highly doubt it. That said, let's get on to our next book, which is the Silk number 2, 1 in 25 incentive variant. I told you, I like this cover. I like the bubblegum cover. I like the pink. It's pretty bright. And yeah, seems to be doing all right. Seems to have maintained at least that that price. As like I pointed out, some of the pre-sales were hitting like $50 or so. So since Wednesday, some of these sales hitting 60. Some of those pre-sales, like I noted, just the day or two before, $50 and $70 as well. Now, granted, there are copies that are cheaper too, maybe only in like the 30s or 40s, but by and large, this is above that 1 in 25 ratio since its release. So it found its way on the top 10 for this week. Now, I've mentioned before how much I don't want to do like the same books over and over again, but I can't control the market. I can't. So I'll try to look at different angles. I may take a book off for 1 week or here or there, but they've still been selling. So for weeks upon weeks, people still seem to be buying Spider-Man 2099. Disregard that 40 plus sales. There's actually many more than that. I just didn't delete that when I was getting the deck ready, and I don't feel like editing out now. So disregard that. The point I'm trying to bring up with the 2099 now, despite the fact that it's still got probably nearly another 100 sales this week, but there are tons of copies, is let's look at the 9.8s. If you look at the 9.8 sales, these are starting to tick up a little bit, 170, 180, and that kind of range here over the last week or so. I mean, these only go back to June 27th, and the cheapest was 153, and the highest was about 190, thereabouts. But if you look at the bar chart here off of Go Collect, you can see it's starting to peak back up again. So yes, the high sales back in 2022 aren't being reached, but after that bit of a dip, these seem to be ticking back up as far as prices go, because just in May, this was only $140.98. So now we're looking at another $50 the last couple of weeks increase. So this one's on the uptick. That said, another repeat is, SpiderBoy. I guess with the news that he's now getting his own series of some kind from Dan Slott in November, people just can't get enough of this. I've had enough of it, but until we get more, I just don't know if this is good or bad. honestly. But another 120 plus sales on the regular issue 7. There's multiple covers here, as you know. By and large, everybody wants this spoiler cover first, but all of the covers seem to be selling. Some of them are cheap. Like you can get like the Dr. Octopus cover for like $9, but if you want this one, it'll run you at least 30 for a raw copy. But 9/8 are also in that $100 range for this particular first print book. I mentioned the first print because not only is this moving, but that second print 1 in 25 incentive also moving again. I bring it up because we had 30 sales, over 30 sales this past week, almost double, I think, the week before. So, again, I guess the news of a new book brought people back to this book once again. And it's still selling, pretty solidly, $40 to $70 for this 1 in 25 second print incentive. 9/8 closing in that $200 mark. I personally prefer the first print for $100. I'd rather buy 2 of those than 1 of these, but your money, you do what you want with it. I'm just reporting what's happening on the market with the actual sales that I see. With that, another book that's still selling this week, despite the fact that I think it's been pretty clear that this isn't the same character, but people seem to still be buying this She-Hulk #3 because maybe it is somehow this old general type soldier character who is a ghost is going to become a 10-year-old boy and the sidekick to Spider-Man. I don't know how they're going to make that work, but some people must believe that's what's going to happen because we got another over 30 sales this week for this book, and it's still selling for that $30 to $40 raw that it has been the past 2 weeks since his name was dropped in that Edge of Spider-Verse 3, and everybody found out it's Bailey Briggs. Telling you, it's not the same person, but people still seem to buy this book, so I got to report it. It's happening, so I got to report it. Something else that I found interesting is that this Hulk book, I read the new Hulk. Wasn't bad. I'm interested in the direction, the horror angle. I'm even curious about this first Elemental, who first appeared in Hulk the Annual just recently, just this year. This one came out, this Hulk Annual. And 60 plus sales of this book this past week. Now, that's across all covers. Everyone seems to be focusing in on this particular cover, the cover A, probably because apps and alerts and websites are only showing you this cover. But $25 this thing is kind of selling for 20 to 25 by and large recently as far as pricing goes. And you can see there, like, what is the other covers are more towards cover for whatever the B covers. There's a C cover, there's a Maestro cover, I think there's a Stormbreakers or something. They're all like closer to cover price. It's just the cover A that's commanding that premium, which is a little odd and would give me pause because none of these covers feature the elemental character that is the first appearance everybody wants. But just be mindful of that when you're going out there and don't overpay. Don't get that FOMO. Now, another book that's selling pretty well that I figured it's time to report is Ultimate Fallout 4. Regular Ultimate Fallout 4, it's just steadily moved. I can't really say it's been moving more than normal. Prices haven't really increased all that much. Ups and downs, highs and lows. But I can say there were more than 60 sales of the second print. Both covers of the second print, by the way. But just want to note that the 60 plus sales is nothing to sneeze at. So let's look at it. Best offer is $75 thereabouts for that white cover, which I actually prefer personally, but highs of 145 on the other second print. Mostly they're lingering around the same price in that kind of like a $70, $80 kind of range for the raws. 200 plus, like low 200s for the 9/8 and whatnot for the graded copies. So that's kind of where the pricing's at. Like I said, plenty of copies have been moving the last week. I haven't reported on this book because I still haven't read it, and I still haven't read it now. Multiple covers, including incentives, but it's still selling. 80 plus sales of this sickness book. I don't know. I don't know what all the hubbub's about. Option news, people just talking it up, whatever, but it's selling. So there it is, over 80 plus sales this past week. And as I said, multiple covers across this. It seems by and large, this cover here is the one that's getting the bigger bump increase, where some of the incentives, like the 1 in 10s and 1 in 20s even, they're not much higher than ratio, but this regular, I guess, cover A is like a $20, $25 book. So I still get nervous when I see odd pricing like that, where it's only a particular cover that's moving the needle. It makes me feel like that's just the one that people are seeing in their feeds, so that's driving them to go and buy. They're not looking any deeper into it. But hey, it is what it is. So it's moving on the market. I still don't have a copy of this. I still haven't read it, but it's all right. Maybe I'll check it out one of these days to see what all the hubbub's about. But if it's good, let me know in the comments. I'm open to reading it and checking it out. That said, we got one more book this week. I had no idea that this book had been doing so well of late. Topher actually pointed this out. Go check him out on Comic Book True First. He's got his little Instagram, as well as he's writing those articles on comicbookinvest.com along with me. But he pointed out that this Ruins book has been selling, and this is a reprint. This reprints the Ruin series from, what was it, like 97 or thereabouts? In the 90s, issues 1 and 2 got put together in 2009 into this, collected edition, sort of a trade, is how some people list it, but it's only like a double size comic, and it's only like $5, so it's not really a full-on trade paperback. There's 2 covers on this thing as well, as you got this one here, like a B cover variant edition, and this thing has been selling pretty well. Look, around 25 to $30 for this thing. Not a ton of sales, but the prices seem to be ticking up, and the asking prices are getting higher and higher, as well as a lot of the listings are now in that $40 to $50 range for these. So yeah, just something to be mindful of. And with that, thank you, Topher, for dropping the knowledge on that one. I didn't notice it until you said something. And with that, we are done. Just under the wire. 10 minutes. Thank you, everyone. Thank you to all you members. That's why you guys get to see this first. Everybody else, you'll get to see it on Friday. Don't worry. And yeah, plenty more content coming your way. Appreciate you all. And I'll be back with more content soon. All right. Later.